Christmas, once again, is that time of the year that people sit together and rejoice. As we rejoice this Christmas, I want to talk to 2 or 3 gentlemen who can assure us that next year we shall also be there and there will be a country for us to enjoy Christmas. I want to talk to 3 or 2 gentlemen who will ensure that we shall enjoy Eid next year. I want to talk to William Samoei Ruto, Raila Amolo Odinga, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Around such a time, 4 years ago, I released a video, and indeed the happenings of the time were what motivated me into starting this channel. I released a video in which I pleaded with Raila Amolo Odinga and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta to sit together in the interest of this country, in the interest of our children and our grandchildren. I'm not naive enough to imagine that it was my plea that made them have the handshake. But I'm nevertheless happy that I'm on record as among those who in their own small way could have contributed. And even if we didn't influence, we are at least happy that it happened. On this Christmas Day, I want to talk to William Ruto and Raila Odinga. I want to ask them to find it in their hearts, in the interest of their grandchildren, to see if they can sit together. Kenya is big enough for all of us. Leadership of this country has space for the many political players in the country today. I believe by sitting together, Raila Odinga and William Ruto will be giving us not just a Christmas gift, New Year gift, but they will also be ensuring that Kenyans will have peace to enjoy Eid, peace to enjoy Christmas next year and the many years ahead. This may look far-fetched. This may look like a tough decision. But when you look at the history of this country, when you look at the most recent happening, who would have thought Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta would sit together in the interest of this country? I know there are many people who think that was nothing. People who take the handshake for granted. But there are many more people who thank these 2 leaders for coming together, because 4 years later, we still have a country. We still have a hope. We're still moving forward. Thank you, Raila Odinga. Thank you, Uhuru Kenyatta. Today, we can also look back and say, a turbulent history, the mess in our politics that has denied us space in the world, the mess in our politics that has ensured that we remain a poor, backward country, not taking a seat among nations of the world. This could have been avoided. I invite Raila Odinga, Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto to draw from the lessons of the past. I invite Kenyans to look at 1963 to 1969 up to 1978. To look at the major players, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, Jomo Kenyatta, Tom Mboya, J.M. Kariuki. Look at those major players and ask yourself, wasn't there space for these players? The answer would be yes, there was space. Are there things they could have done better in the interest of this country? Certainly yes. Was it too much for them to work together? Certainly no. Were there outside forces that made sure they worked against each other? Certainly. With hindsight, you can see. Something else emerges from that. That the politicians of the 1960s played their game as if Kenya was ending in 5 years' time. This many years, Kenya is still around. A good number of these people were around to see and look back and said if they are sat together, Jaramogi Oginga, Ronald Ngala, Daniel Arap Moi, Tom Mboya, J.M. Kariuki and the rest, they would have had space for themselves in this country. The history of this country would be different. This country will be in a different place. The misery we see around may not be there, at least not the level we have sunk to. Fast forward from then. In the year 1992, at the dawn of multipartyism, you can imagine how much change this country would have gained and what this country will be like today, 30 years later, 20 or 30 years later. If the major political leaders, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, Kenneth Stanley Njino Matiba, Martin Shikuku, Raila Odinga, the Young Turks, Toby Manyara, Paul Muite, Mwai Kibaki, the late Michael Wamalwa Kijana. If these luminaries are sat together in the interest of this country, and if they had not behaved as if Kenya was going to end in 5 years, where would this country be? First, perhaps by supporting Jaramogi Oginga Odinga by virtue of his age, we would have dealt tribalism a mortal blow in this country. More significantly, they would have put this country on a path of development. And Kenya today will be a different place. But look at what happened. We had to wait for another 10 years for Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi to leave the scene. Moi was a good man, but I think he had overstayed. If you look at the Moi of the first 10 years, the wonderful things he did, the Nyayo schools all over the country, turning day schools into boarding schools, especially for girls. If you look at the hospitals, the Nyayo wards, and more so his role in education, Moi was a darling of this country for the first 10 years. So we wait until 2002, and again, we squander our chance. You can imagine what Kenya would be like if Kibaki and his people had not betrayed Raila Odinga. Like in 1992, we would have dealt tribalism a mortal blow. Nobody will be talking of tribalism in this country if Kibaki had not betrayed Raila Odinga. No. If the people had worked together, and on the part of Raila, looking back, especially after the handshake, he can say, supposing ningekuwa mvumilivu, I work with Mwai Kibaki, wouldn't I have become president much earlier than I'm going to be if I become next year? And where would this country be if all the forces, opposition forces, opposing Kibaki led by Raila, worked together with the Kibaki? We would have avoided 2007 and 2008. Again, we would have ended the tribalism in this country. With this background, I beseech Raila Odinga, William Ruto, to find it in their heart to think about this country. Look at how much we can save. Look at how much resources are going to be spent in this election. We can even save the money and put up a William Samoei Ruto Memorial Hospital, something like that. Raila Odinga Research Center. Big things. Cancer Center in their name. The country will develop by merely sitting together and Ruto saying, I'm younger than Raila Odinga. I love this country. I'll support Raila Odinga. With a public understanding that Raila will go there for one term. Look at how much trouble we'll save ourselves. Why do I say these things? I say so because at the end of every war, people always sit down. The question the Times ask themselves is, how if we had begun by sitting down? How much human suffering would we have avoided? How much would we have avoided loss of human life? Every war ends with the people sitting down. At the end of every strike, there is always a return to work formula. People sit down. At that time, patients have died because doctors were on strike. Nurses were on strike. Patients have died. At that time, students have lost valuable time because teachers were on strike. Professors were on strike, and therefore the university calendar has been messed. But they end up sitting down for a return to work formula. At the end of every war, people sit down. At the end of this war, Ruto could find himself sitting down with Raila. But so much will have gone wrong, so much wastage. Finally, I want to inform the two players that the way this game is being played, the way this war is being fought, there will be casualties. I can guarantee you, the victor will vanquish the loser. There is no way Ruto will proceed to State House and sit there comfortably ruling this country or governing this country with Raila Odinga at large, with the rest of these people at large. He will finish them politically to establish himself as a man. Because of the criminal that has taken place between now and 2022, there will be so much of that. Likewise, a Raila presidency will mean sending Ruto into political oblivion. Take this to the bank or the farm, as Churchill told me. We can avoid all this. It may look like I'm a daydreamer, but I can assure you, it is not beyond us as people to request that these two gentlemen, let 2022 be a year of guided democracy. Some people may call it boardroom democracy. Let us reorganize and re-engineer our politics. This is my Christmas message to Kenyans and to Raila Odinga, William Samoei Ruto. Think hard that at the end of every war, people end up sitting down. But look at what has been wasted. How much will have been lost? Look at the future. Raila Odinga, Samoei, William Ruto, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Sit down. It's not too late. It is possible. Let's not wait until we get to a point where we wish that actually we would have sat down and talked as Kenyans. At the very least, give us hope that as we enjoy this Christmas, there will be Christmas for us to enjoy next year. There will be Eid for us to enjoy next year. Enjoy your Christmas. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.